Peace, guys. Hey. Welcome to another chit chat on this Lionsgate portal, right? We're on the 8/8/22 today. It's a really chill evening, I'll tell you that. It's a lot going on, a lot of synchronicities. And I wanted to come on and talk about some of the stuff that I've been trying to speak on for the last, actually it's been months, but even the last couple videos, I wanted to talk about some stuff that has just been bombarding me for at least a month now. And it just keeps coming on really, really strong. It won't go away. So I have my charcoal lit with some frankincense and myrrh. I have a candle. And you know what? I was cleaning up because I told you I had guests this weekend. They just left today. So I've been cleaning up, and under my bed, I had to clean it off because it was like dusty and packed in something, but I found this obsidian egg just out of the blue, right? And of course I have a lot of crystals. You know, people know me for having, like I'm looking at, I wish I could turn the camera around because I show you like all my beautiful big geodes, and I just have crystals everywhere, laying everywhere for, again, the last probably more than 20 years. I've been into crystals for a very long time, way before it was a trend. But I don't even know when I got this obsidian egg, honestly. It has a little stand and everything. And it was all dusty. I had to wash it off and give it a salt bath and, you know, recharge it. And then I had to look up the meaning of it because I forgot. And of course I know obsidian because I have a lot of, I also have a tourmaline, black tourmaline, like you know, that's like my, I call it my, you know, it's like my pistol. I keep it by my bed. But the obsidian was right on time because, you know, it draws out or expels negative energy, which I've had a lot, you know, going on. You know, I don't even really want to go into it, but I've had some very unhappy souls, as many of us had, you know, gang stalking and trying to work some of their like silly little dark magic, and you know, just let them spin because they got to learn their lessons too, right? And they got to see what they're dealing with. And you know, I say a little prayer for them. I send stuff back to them too, but I say a little prayer for them. Hopefully, in their little dark period when they're trying so bad to harm me, and they see that it doesn't work because of who and what I'm rolling with, then maybe they'll investigate that source for themselves and be able to gain some new insight on higher spirituality rather than the low stuff that they're operating out of. So, you know, it hasn't been anything deep because it's all a matter of your, you know, your state of spirit and mind. But anyway, the egg I really like too because it, and I'm way too chill because I'm not trying to do these long videos, right? I'm still doing other stuff, and I'm not as well, I mean, I like the freestyle oracle, you know, like flows, but I come from a much more focused, scholarly, intellectual background, and I do like to have an outline and to talk about things in systematic ways. But, you know, I decided I'm going to leave that to the brothers. The brothers really like to break down science. And even though I've taught science, literally, you know, it's kind of playing out for me and fading. And, you know, I'm relying much more on the intuitive, creative, oracle, you know, mystical flow in everything in life at this point. But the obsidian egg is wonderful. The egg represents rebirth, you know. The black obsidian also, you know, represents the eternal, you know. Whether it's the duat or the universe or the multiverse, rather, you know, intergalactic womb, the womb. So I was just, you know, there have been so many synchronicities. Did I say that already? I mean, it's just been so astounding and entertaining. The amount of synchronicities that have cropped up and that are going strong. So, one of the topics that I've been trying to get to has been cloning, right? And I just made a couple notes, nothing organized. There were a couple things. I think I started in on the clones the other day, the Hyperboreans with the, you know, sexuality, sort of agenda. I don't like that word agenda, but the Hyperboreans, the androgynous and hermaphroditic aspect of our prehistory being in this realm, and the evolution back to that, because we're dealing with a lack of polarity. And it gets real sticky, you know, because a lot of people are stuck in the agenda of the anti-Christic representation. Remember, I said this in the last video, anti-Christic has this technique of always coming out with the information just a little bit before it debuts in the natural timeline, and it likes to sort of twist things a little bit, right? So you have the non-binary, you know, trans movement, which nothing against, you know, I know I'm, especially my millennials, I know I'm gonna have some millennials that are just like, get really mad at me about, you know, thinking I'm dissing, and I'm not really dissing the process, because a lot of it, you know, it's like MK Ultra, right? So you had MK Ultra, which goes way, way back. It's nothing new. It just became widespread, though, with a whole generational population with the indigos and millennials. But they MK Ultra'd us, you know, in my childhood, and I'm not gonna tell you what year I'm born. I mean, maybe I will in the future. But you know, MK Ultra is something that they've been doing for decades, right? But they unveiled the whole population MK Ultra, you know, with a whole generation of, like I said, indigos. Really goes back to indigos in the 80s, you know. And I got people calling me and stuff. I can't even see it, so I'll get to it. But anyway, so we were dealing with the sexuality and the Hyperboreans, and then the clones. I really, really wanted to get to. And again, I don't have like an outline, so I'm just gonna kind of introduce some things and then come back and talk about it. I know I always say that, and then because I don't go back and watch my videos, so I should go back and watch it so I can see what I left off at, and then I can come back and talk about it. And maybe I'll try something where I'll come on and read some of the stuff, because I have a lot of stuff that I write, so I could just come through and read some stuff and then discuss it. That could be another method as well of presenting this stuff till I get more of a vibe and a flow. So where I really want to start, there's two things about the clones. I feel like there was something else. There's two things about the clones. One is Westworld, the show. I think I brought that up the other day. And I think I mentioned, I don't know if you've been watching Westworld, but I just got back on this fourth season because I wasn't really watching I watched the first season a little bit, and it was a new show. But then Lovecraft was bomb. Did you guys see Lovecraft? That was really good. I think I was on that when Westworld came out. And so then, but they got better writers, as they usually do, and they came out with this fourth season that was just off the chain. So, it really speaks to this season of Westworld. It really speaks to the whole cloning phenomenon. And so when I was watching it, I was just getting super excited. I should have wrote some notes, but I was being really lazy. And so another synchronicity is there's a location that they shot Westworld in the season, and I knew it was familiar when I looked at it. And then I was watching one of the after show director talks or whatever, and sure enough, they said they spoke about the location of the Viceroy in was it Baja? Is it in Baja? I think it's in Baja, Mexico. I was like, wow, that looks familiar. And I stayed at the Viceroy. This was 2018, I believe. Beautiful hotel. Oh my God, it's so gorgeous. And that's where they did, it does kind of have this otherworldly look to it. And so they did a lot of the filming. Matter of fact, the whole background of this new world, I think it's Hale is her name. I need to write down all the characters and stuff to get it right. But the the theme of what they're trying to get over in this fourth season is everything that those of us who have been observing this clone dynamic for years now have been trying to to espouse. And I'm gonna tell you this story that goes way back. Again, I know I talk about my sister a lot, but I'm so lucky to have been born into a family where we we understand each other, and we have a place we can go when some of this wild stuff pops up. We can call each other and not feel like we're going to be seen as crazy. But I had a dream probably about, it always feels like 10 years ago or so. Let's say about 10 years ago. And I remember I woke up and I called my sister right away to tell her the dream. And in the dream, we were little girls and we were running around in our grandfather's church at the time. And we were like playing, like running around this sort of like basement or warehouse type looking environment. And we were laughing, and then suddenly we stumbled across this room that had all of these, like, you know how they have the specimens inside of the glass, or, you know, I mean, at the time, I hadn't seen a lot of that portrayed in films or whatever, but, you know, they have the clones inside of a large, what is that called? Like a glass, whatever, you know, case with fluid and stuff, and they're not animated. And I remember I was going, oh my God, you know, oh my God, look, you know, look, Sue, look. And I was then, after we kind of were moving down these you know, these like aisles looking at these things, I said, I think I've been cloned, you know. And I said, and then I was saying something like, I think they're going to ask us if they can clone us and blah, 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 blah. I said, are you going to get cloned? I forgot what she said. But it was one of those, you know, vivid, lucid dreams too. And I never forgot it because it was just so, you know, weird. And I remember not too long ago after that, a lot of my, it must have been Facebook, not MySpace, might have been MySpace, Facebook posts, I would post and write a lot about being being a clone. You know, I would go deep, into examining, like, how would you know if you're a clone? You know, would you know? And again, this is before they started, like, really trending stuff on clones. And of course, you know, the science of it again, I can leave that to some other, I'm sure there's some brothers out there because, you know, a lot of times, you know, that's the other synchronicity. I start talking about stuff on here, I click off, and then tomorrow, you know, I'll watch some YouTubes and find out that somebody else is, and luckily these things have timestamps, right? So you can see who was talking about what first, because you'll think that somebody stole, but it's not. It's morphogenetics, and it's like a lot of us are, you know, needing to talk about this stuff. I hope my smoke alarm doesn't go off with this sprinkler system. So, you know, I'll get it. Maybe tomorrow I'll feel like getting into the science. It's been a very busy weekend. I've been entertaining a lot and going out. So I'm not really, like I said, going to go too deep. Because I'm so laid back, I'm spending a lot of time talking about this. But, you know, so then the other really wild thing that came up this weekend, synchronistically again, is I was watching YouTube, and I came across it. Just again pop, you know, they can, you know, I don't even have Siri or Alexa, but whoever is listening likes to take the suggestion of what you're on and send you some videos to watch on it. You guys know how that happens. So I saw this one video. You guys might, did I mention this already? You guys might know him, Kid Koo, is that his name? Kid Boo. Anyway, he's a rapper, and all I know is he was dating Black China, who I've never heard of her, and I really don't know what she looks like, but I've heard of her rather, but I don't know any of her stuff. But this dude came on and was talking about him being cloned by Clone Aid in Canada. And I mean, he was just talking about it like it was just like he was, you know, it was just, what did he call himself, a second gen something, you know? And he was just like, and I did mention this because I told you, it reminded me of a friend of mine, and this whole dynamic with Canada. And another dream I had in a treatment that I wrote, I probably shouldn't talk about it because I know somebody's gonna. I have a lot of people who like to steal, but I don't care because when people steal stuff, again, you're really just asking for a lesson from the universe. Nobody can take anything that truly belongs to you, as much as they like to try. And that's I noticed that's becoming big these days now too. I hear other people on YouTube talking about people stealing other people's identity and work and all that kind of stuff, and it's so sad that people feel like they have to do that, like they have such little creativity in their own minds, and B, theft in general, is such a lack of something that lacks so much consciousness, just to be stealing other people's stuff or to be stealing, period. Shame on you. You know what I mean? Shame on you. But then we know demons don't have much shame. So these are generally people who are possessed by, entities, and they just, have no shame about it because they're already so low in their expression that, they just letting these other entities run them. But I was saying Kid Buu and Clonade in Canada, it was a treatment I wrote over 10 years ago. And it was about these dreams that I was having at the time, repeating dreams, recurring dreams of Harriet Tubman. But instead of it being like the regular Harriet Tubman with the Underground Railroad, and this was before that, I remember because right after I told my sister about it again, and I wrote it down, there was that new movie with, was it Zoe Saldana or something, that was coming out, which, I didn't particularly care for that movie, but this was like a year at least before they even announced that that movie was coming out. So the twist on my dreams though were that instead of it being an Underground Railroad to get slaves from here to there, the Underground Railroad was like a time machine, and there were these portals that were, it was underground, like caves or underground network, that had this machine. Again, it was like seriously like 10 years ago. So I mean, CERN was barely talked about back then. But I mean, we go back, we got me and my sister got another story about the whole CERN time machine thing before CERN was announced. And honey, this goes back at least 15 years. I've told this story before because she was in London, and I had to call her on the phone. I told my aunt, and my aunt said, "Oh, your sister just had a similar dream or something. You should call." And we just talked about this like last week too. You should call her and tell her about what you just dreamed, what you just told me. And mine was more like I had called it a particle accelerator at the time. That's what they said it was in the dream, but it was a time travel device. And I had a whole explanation. You sat in this chair, and this was before this stuff was out. So then I called her, and she had a similar type of dream. I'll go into it another time. But the point is, Canada has always been, I've never been to Canada, which is real strange because I've been all around the world and I've always wanted to go. I always wanted to go to Montreal, but now they're getting so right wing in their politics. But it was just always a destination that when I heard the name, I just lit up. But who knew that Clonade, evidently an organization that endeavors to clone humans, or has already done so according to Kid Buu, was something. And so then I stumbled this weekend across some YouTubes when I did a hit on it was some old ABC documentary specials on cloning from 1980. And this was after I watched after I came on and told you guys about Kid Coup. I did some, like, you know, late night falling asleep hits and came up with some you know, rather dry interviews, but it validated this whole, you know, Canada Canada connection. So I mean, it's so much, you know. I just, again, I'm not really organized to talk about it. I probably should have waited. I mean, I'm trying to get myself in the habit of doing some videos, so I can, you know, get on here and get started with some of the information that they, you know, that channels through often. Yeah, the energy's kind of weird. They kind of got me on like chill mode. I don't know, like not doing too much talking. Maybe I'm just supposed to be on this Lionsgate portal vibe. So yeah, Kid Coup, I guess that's his name. Kid Boo is his name. He basically said that, he believes in the Elohim. His religion is Raelian. Remember the Raelians? Which is weird because I had a boyfriend, my first internet boyfriend 20 years ago. His name was Rael. Shout out to Rael. I'm sure he's not listening. But that was an interesting story that I'll have to get into one day. Very interesting story. Very, very interesting story that makes some connections to, oh my goodness. Oh man, do I want to talk about that? Not right now. But let me just put a little footnote in there that it has to do with Romania, Transylvania, sanguinarianism, and some past life stuff. We were just talking about planning a trip to Croatia today, and I've already wanted to do this whole Balkan trip. This was like 2018 that I was planning, or 2019 that I was planning on doing it. I was going to do it in the summer of 2020, right before the pandemic hit. Yeah, and so he says he's a second generation cloned by Clonaid. One of the interviews where he was asked some stuff, if he was a test tube kid, and he said yeah, and you know, so many are now. Like, again, it's nothing to, you know, it would be cruel to sort of make jokes, even though we did back in the 80s. But with fertility treatments, there's so many, you know, conceptions from test tubes, what we call test tubes. It's a synthesis DNA, live immortal, fragment of clone, pineal bone. I think that was some of the stuff he was saying. There's some stuff I want to talk about that has to do with Christ actually as a historical figure, whether some of you believe it's mythical or not. But some really interesting stuff I came across. So, the whole clone thing is just preparing us for the transhumanist, agenda. That was one of the things. The shift, which is an anti-Christic, thing to operate these synthetics in a simulation, and to be able to, harvest this is all old news, really, just harvest our souls and, trap them in this technology. And, what we've just experienced with, this past 2 years is also a formatting of that as well. Yeah, Hyperboreans. Oh, there's another show that over the weekend, one of my guests had me watch, or they were watching it, so I just ended up watching it with them. And it was called Sandman. And I don't know if you guys have heard about that, but that's a pretty trippy show too, that takes place in the dream world. And it starts off just kind of like a fantasy, and then it gets like super deep. Like it has so many episodes, but like by the 10th episode or so, it goes into some really, 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 really deep themes and motifs and symbols. And then one last show that I stumbled across is this little HBO documentary called Anarchist, which again is another kind of synchronistic thing because it takes place in Mexico. It's a true story about these American citizens who consider themselves anarchists, who are very normal type people. They just don't believe in a government. And so they moved to, this was in the last 5 years, they moved to Acapulco and start this whole movement of anarchists, and they start this conference every year called what is it called? Anarchapulco. They create a community. And it's kind of a reality, documentary where they're interviewing. I guess they chronicled it from the time it started, and it also had a basis in Bitcoin. And so you watch. I think this frankincense and myrrh got me a little high, but the plot of the doc is that you watch them sort of blow up in the cryptocurrency Bitcoin, story, to when it got up to like, what did it get up to when it went really high. And it's really interesting because it's another link to these different worlds. That's the other thing that they're trying to put together. So back in 2015, 2016, that movie that I was trying to tell you about in the other video, though, I did remember. I think it's called Dark City, if you ever get a chance to watch that. And it's before The Matrix, but it's a different sort of twist on The Matrix and how they, again, these entities that reminded me of the archons, how when everyone went to sleep, and this kind of, interweaves into this new TV show on HBO called Sandman, and the dreaming world. I have a lot of melanated people in that. Just isn't that happening in general with everything now? I've never seen so many melanated people in media and film, and it's like weaving us into the mythology, but highly melanated. But what was I saying? Dreaming. Oh gosh, I lost it. What did I say? Oh gosh, I lost it. It'll come back to me. 2016. When somewhere around there, between 2013 and 2016, when it was around the same time as the Mandela effect. I always say around the time of the Gulf of Aden is something I always use as a hallmark for when this, and then the movie Lucy, when they started really, it must have been when they turned on CERN, you know, one of the first times, and started to like really, you know, start playing around with the space-time continuum. And I was saying, messing around with interdimensional, obviously if the portals were being opened in Antarctica and, you know, Iraq, and just all over, because again, portals are not, you know, it's not as limited. You know, we get a little taste of it in films, or somebody will put something on the internet, and then we get stuck in this one way of talking about this phenomena, or different phenomenon, and it's really, you know, not that limited. So like, portals are not just these, you know, wormhole type stargates, you know, that exist again. And, you know, people are always using the material world, the third dimensional material world, as a frame of reference. But, you know, there are different layered dimensions within each dimension. You know, there's octaves, and there's, what do we used to call them? Overtones, maybe? It's like in harmonics, you know, you have a note, and then you have all of this range within that one note, even like frequency ranges. And so portals happen, you know, you could be sitting and try, you know, we've been time traveling, interdimensional traveling forever. It's nothing new, you know. And in past histories, you know, many of us, you know, Asiatic civilizations have preserved it still within their belief systems, you know, Buddhism, speaking of which, you know, I said I was trying to get to Tibet. I mean, there's so much inherent in, my mind goes so fast that it's hard for me sometimes to stay on topic and talk about something, and that's okay, because it's, you know, I think it seems a little off for those of us who are older and who are trained a certain way, but I am like sure that particularly younger people, but those of us who are tapping into the shift of crystal frequency, you know, we don't have to follow information the same way we used to. You know, we can, you know, people, you know, we can keep up. We know what we're talking about. We know what we're talking about. It doesn't have to all be talked about in one particular way. So we can stream, right? We can stream. But interdimensional traveling, and what I was trying to say is, you know, especially since the pandemic too, I think I had written that down because I wanted to talk about that, but it's like, it's been so much traveling through different interdimensional portals, collectively, non-collectively. There's so many rifts and you know, there's so many portals that are always opening and closing. And to try to mainstream a dominant, reality is just futile these days, you know. The fact that they're even doing that, and I don't even think that they really are, you know. I mean, they do it a lot through media to create a common normality consciousness, right? But that's not really sticking either, you know, because it's too much psychotic splits happening with that, you know. It's too much rebellion with people trying to escape these concepts of normal that have been contrived and, put out there for us. So, I've said this for years, people just have to become true to their own experiences, and tap in. And that's gotten harder and harder too with social media. Everybody's just like so hooked on checking their phone, being in their phone, being on their computer. You know what I'm saying? I mean, does a day go by that you don't tap into any technology? I have to admit that's not true for me. And I've been criticizing the whole thing for, over a decade now. Because I've always said that it's taken us from we were supposed to develop an empathic telepathy network, neural network link that was organic and ethereal. And instead, they captured us in social media with MySpace and, pre-MySpace with some of these other, groups that we used to be in, chat groups and stuff. And so they hijacked our evolutionary mutation into a natural neural network, which was empathic telepathic, which was going to help us all boost, and that's another thing in this TV show, The Sandman. It's funny because one of the last episodes is with this this black girl. She's a vortex, which is crazy. I came on the other day to tell you guys about Zia Vortex, which was one of my earlier Facebook avatar handles. And she's a vortex, and she was a danger, and they had to kind of neutralize her because her gift could destroy both worlds, the dream world and the waking world. And why did I bring that up? There was a reason. Can't remember. But anyway, shape-shifting and, waking up to our multidimensionality and, making that stuff all conscious and fluid as a narrative that, we anchor. Because a lot of this stuff, we've become woke to a lot of stuff, a lot of high-level stuff, but then, like Dark City, it just gets reprogrammed again when we go to sleep. When we go to sleep, we wake up the next morning, which is what happened to me, and I can't remember that brother's name. I gotta look him up on Facebook. We kind of fell out of friendship, but it was this one brother that I only met on Facebook, but we had this thing where we were the only two who remembered what happened. And again, it was right before the Mandela effect, and we both woke up one New Year's, I think it was 2015, and we were like, this is not the same world that it was yesterday. And I remember I was having all these dreams about traveling in a spaceship, and, going to these different worlds, and, just get like we were being abducted, collectively. And I swear that's when I think they took us in a black hole. And this was before I had a whole bunch of information about that. Luckily, as, you talk about stuff more, the synchronicity, the way it goes is that more people talk about it with you. And that's why it's important to not feel like you're crazy. You don't have to have the perfect way to say, again, salute to my brothers who want to keep it in that, more science. And I don't mean that, in any cultic way. I mean, you gotta watch all these politics, right? But I mean, I wasn't speaking specifically to the Moorish Nation organization. I'm saying, from my own understanding of what my ancestors, you know, because I'm a Moor, you know, but I'm not affiliated with any modern day organization. I'm affiliated with, you know, I've been all over the world. I've been to Spain, I've been to Africa, I've been to, you know, Europe, I've been to Asia, here in the Americas. You know, I know the influence, you know, and I know the history too, the told histories. But what I'm saying is, and I know even the histories, you know, for those of you, I mean, it's kind of old now for a lot of you, but a lot of people learned, a lot of the brothers learned through Peter Moon's book, Ong's Hat, about the involvement of the Moors with time travel way before it was being talked about. And it had to do with an egg and a machine, time travel machine. I mean, none of this stuff is new. This stuff goes back. But we have fresh new takes on a lot of them. And so pay attention, you know, pay attention to what's happening, and don't sell yourself short, and don't just go on YouTube looking for other people's, you know, stories to fit yours into. Like, you know, articulate your own narrative of what's happening to you, you know, and use, you know, create the language and the context. It doesn't have to be something you go searching for a pre-created context to fit yourself into. Because the truth is big enough for everybody's version. It honestly is. Don't let other people tell you it's not. Okay, I know I'm probably, you know, I feel like I haven't said anything. I know I have. I shouldn't say that. But I don't know, the style lately is just kind of got me off a little, because it's not, again, as organized as I have been in the past. A lot of good stuff coming through this portal. So keep your mind. Oh, the Isle of Dr. Moreau. I remember I used to talk about that a long time ago. That'll help. Okay, so when I go into this clone thing, next time I'm going to go into the Anunnaki mythologies, the Sumerian mythologies, Enki, and, man, I talked about this so much and written about it, but Enki and Enlil and Ninmah, is it Ninmah? Ninmah, I can't remember her name, but she was the one that really did the architect fashioning genetically, and the creation of, you know, the different versions of human hybrids from different stock, you know, porcine, obviously the primate, you know, monkey, Hanuman tribe, which the Indians talk about a lot in India, and in, you know, Asia, Angkor Wat, Cambodia rather, has a lot of mythology with Hanuman, and also the canine. You know, a lot of people recall the whole Rome mythology was based on the wolf and the canine, DNA hybrid bloodlines. Feline, obviously we know the cat. Avian, which is the bird, and serpentine or reptilian, which is the snake. I'm repping my snake today. Can you see it? Really feeling this portal's opened up a lot of Kemet Egyptian energy for me tonight. So I have my lapis on, my, if you can see, that's a very old ring of mine, which is the scarab. And yeah, so, you know, we're doing some interesting portals. You know, yeah, I guess I'm gonna stop there because I'm just like really spaced out the way this is flowing, but it's okay. You know, I think the main thing I want to stress is just you know, just be aware of the way things are flowing. I think I mentioned the other day that dream I had where I was working with someone in the dream, and they were moving energy in a wave this way, and I was moving energy in a wave that way, and we were doing some kind of work to help things and people. And you know, I realized that, yeah, and I've just been spacey. I've been out of it. I don't know about you guys, but I've been spacey and just really trying to ground. Well, not trying to ground, but you know, needing to ground in 3D because there's so many other, you know, realities that are colliding right now. You know, as of the 7th, you know, with CERN and other things. It's not just CERN. You know, we learned that a long time ago. We don't give all of the, just like we don't give a whole lot of attention to these fools that are trying to intersect our personal realities. Again, shout out to my haters who've been doing a whole bunch of, I don't even like that word. I'm sounding too normal. Not haters, but shout out to all those who keep trying to disrupt my reality, you know, and want the attention. I know you want the attention. I don't normally give it to you, but I'm gonna give you a little attention tonight because I realize with this portal, you about to get woke to your own, you know, immature, childish energy. You know, you really should have better things to do. And I know that you really, you know, I'm talking to you now because I know you probably figure out how to watch this. I mean, I know it's really just because you care, but I don't have time. You know, I don't have any time to be giving you. I don't have energy or time to give you, to feed you in your fallen state. So you're not going to be able to keep me behind, you know. But what I have done for you by allowing you to continue what you've been, you know, trying to do is to give you the opportunity to see yourself so that you can, you know, evolve. And if that doesn't happen on this one, I gotta say sayonara because I don't have any energy for you to even exist anymore. So, oh, there we go. So that was a perfect. My battery died, so that's a perfect ending. Okay, I don't know. Uh-oh, that was even my light. Look at that. I don't know. I don't know, you know, how this, you know, got to all this, but I'm just thinking it's the vibe with the portal, the Lionsgate portal. So, gonna hold up my candle and I'm gonna say goodbye. Thank you guys for watching and spending this time with me, and we will get back to another chit chat really soon, maybe tomorrow. I'll try to come in and, you know, maybe tidy some of this up. Okay. All right, you guys have a wonderful portal. Go out there and take a look at, I think I'm going to go outside and take a look at the moon. It's about 9, a little after 9 here, maybe 10. And I'm feeling the synthetic sky up there, the holographic sky. But, you know, I'll meditate maybe and pull myself into the actual celestial realm, okay? All right, have a wonderful rest of your evening, and peace.